BreyerFest horse corner. Clearly. So it is time of filming July 24th. I did have to look that up. And we are like a week and a half post BreyerFest, I believe. And it's so hard to just like put into a few words how amazing BreyerFest is every year. I frankly don't think that you can, and that's why this video exists. It's just so special. It is really like my favorite week of the year, and it does go by so quickly. I'll talk a little bit more about my thoughts on that in this video, but it really does go by so quickly, and we obviously, like, so much goes into it. Like, yeah, you're in Kentucky for, 5 to 9 or however many days, but obviously BreyerFest is more than just the time that you're actually there doing things, and I don't know, just like all the good and positive and wonderful things. This BreyerFest was truly one of my favorites. I think it was probably my second favorite BreyerFest ever, second only to 2024, which just was like my favorite BreyerFest of all time. But this BreyerFest was so good. Like, the vibes were so good, like before, during, after, like just so good. Everything was so good. It was so much fun. Like, I literally came home from BreyerFest and I had no voice because I had been cackling and hooting and hollering all week. Like, I had no voice, and I do lose my voice easily, but I came home and I had no voice. I had to go to work and I had to like be a lawyer and I had no voice. My boss was like, what happened on your vacation? Like, you must have had a time. And I was like, no, I did have a time. It was great. Thank you for saying that. Anyways, this is my BreyerFest 2026 experience video, if that was not already obvious. I struggle with how to do this video every year because I do not vlog while I'm in Kentucky intentionally, because I do not have the time. Cookie is here. Hi, puppy. I don't have the time or the manpower, frankly, to just be constantly taking, landscape video on my phone. I'm doing too many other things on my phone. Like, I truly don't know how people do it. I've said that year after year. Thank you. So I've done a couple of different formats with the experience video, and by and large, I know that you guys prefer it this way, where I'm talking to you, versus just like a podcast style slideshow. So, against my own better judgment, I am doing it this way again this year. I say that because I know that editing Sam is going to regret this format because it takes so long to edit. I'm so sorry. But y'all like it a lot better this way, with just photo overlays and whatnot. So that is the way we're gonna do it. Okay, so without further ado, this video is going to be long enough. I would like to just get right into it. I will say right at the top, as of time of filming, and I'm sure as of time of uploading, this video will come out before my haul. The order that I do these videos in kind of just depends on the year, but this year definitely the experience will get out before the haul, because the haul is still waiting on a few things to arrive. I can talk about it now. My diorama contest was a winner this year, and so one of the things I'm waiting on is Glossy Flinka from Breyer, and I want to have her in person to do my haul. Haven't gotten her yet. And then another thing that I purchased actually is in transit right now. So, experience video will come before the haul video this year because I want those pieces. Hi, Shark. Oh, Lucy's here too. I want both of those pieces to be in the haul. So the haul will come second. But let's get started on the experience because there is so much to talk about. And actually, what I will do first is I am going to turn this over to Sunday 1 BreyerFest Sam driving to Kentucky, because she filmed a BreyerFest expose video where I talk about all of my plans and all of the prep and everything. And I had a lot to share because there's a lot that I haven't shared that went into this BreyerFest. So I'm gonna let her take it away from here, and then I will meet you guys back here when she's done. Great. Hopefully this is a good time for me to film this video. I'm about like a third of the way into my road trip down to Kentucky, and this is the first time that it's not pouring down rain. Never have I ever driven to BreyerFest white knuckling it through a monsoon before, so there's a first time for everything, I guess. Not complaining. It has been so hot in the Midwest, specifically in Michigan, the past few weeks. So like, we need this rain, and it is still raining a little bit, so hopefully, well, I say that as it starts to pick up again. Hopefully the audio doesn't wind up being too bad and I can still use this. And if it starts downpouring again, I will just have to do multiple takes, I guess. But I wanted to film my little pre-BreyerFest expose, where I talk about everything that I've been keeping like under wraps and everything that I haven't talked about before, because by the time this video comes out, y'all will have seen it already. So I always like to do this because there's always like some things that I keep to myself and that I don't share before BreyerFest, and also just to like talk about the plans and the day-to-day and things I'm excited about and whatever. So I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna see if the weather holds up. And yeah, that's it. Okay, the weather did not in fact hold up, but I think it's better now. I can like almost see, well no, I can't see blue skies, but I think that it's better than what it was. I don't see any like downpouring for the foreseeable future. So, let's roll. So I am on my way. Today is Sunday. I am arriving mid to late afternoon today, hopefully around 3 o'clock, meeting up with my friend Katie, who is one of my housemates for Kentucky this year. And we are both showing in Nan tomorrow. So we will be arriving and then picking up our packets around 5-ish when packet pickup opens at the Clarion, then going back to the house and tagging horses and getting organized, and depending on the temperature and humidity, either reloading the trucks or making sure that we can do that very early tomorrow morning. I was especially cognizant of the humidity and the temperatures this year. The week leading up to BreyerFest, it was like upper 90s in Michigan. I know I said that it was like really warm, but it was upper 90s and like really, really, really humid. And that made me nervous with the horses and warping and issues and stuff. And I have a couple customs that are coming with me, which is weird and crazy, and we'll talk about it. But I have a couple of customs, and I was like especially trying to be mindful of that and all the things. So I was really lucky I did get to load the truck last night. We had like a big thunderstorm roll through, and it cooled everything down enough to where I was comfortable loading the truck last night. So that was nice, because then I could just kind of like roll out of bed, prep my cooler, throw my suitcase in the truck, and then I was good to go. I didn't have to like load 10 totes of horses. So anyways, I want to start this video. That's where we're at. That's what's going on right now. But I want to start this video by talking about prep. I have done kind of a ridiculous amount of prep for this year's BreyerFest. BreyerFest is always a lot of prep. By by prep, I mean just like research, organization, planning, like the logistics and the research, and the packing, I guess, can all be lumped into the term prep. I always do a lot of prep. I'm a big prepper. Like, I like to be organized. I like to document everything. Like, I'm a big, it just like makes my brain feel correct and clean and happy, and I can sleep soundly at night knowing that I've done my homework. I am a homework doer, and I like to have stuff done early so that, again, I like to sleep soundly at night. I have anxiety. I like to get stuff done early, and I like to do a lot of stuff. Like, I like to be very, very prepared and organized. You don't have to. Nobody has to. But that's just like what makes me happy and what allows my brain to be like the most functional. And now it's starting to rain again. So, okay, it's not that bad, so we're gonna keep going. So anyways, I knew this was gonna be a big BreyerFest. We knew, like, the sun. Oh, maybe there's gonna be a rainbow. That would be cool. There's been a lot of rainbows this summer. We knew, I think from like November, or maybe even sooner than that there was going to be a NAN this year. And so I wanted to do NAN, of course. I love NAN. I love NAN 2024. I had so much fun. I had such a good experience. So I knew, of course, that I wanted to do it again. So I started prep for NAN in December. And I would say, arguably, I have been doing prep for BreyerFest since then. Some months more heavy than others, but more or less since then. I'm not an artist. I didn't need to paint anything. I'm not selling anything. I didn't need to prep sales. That is just prep for like my personal showing. I've been doing it since December. So in December, I started structuring what I wanted to bring to NAN. So I went through my spreadsheet, all of my cards, and I started compiling all the cards I wanted to use for the horses I wanted to bring to NAN. And that was step one. The second thing I did is once I had structured that list and I knew what I wanted to bring and I had pulled their cards, I went through and I put together binders of all of my existing references for each of those horses in like a structured order. It obviously wasn't the exact order that NAN was going to use because we didn't know that information until a few weeks ago. A few days ago, actually. But I organized it by section, by, breed collectability within breed, different, sections, within collectability, different, whatever. I had it organized. And I did that so early because, and this is like what a large portion of my prep was, I wanted to make new reference cards for all of my horses that I was showing at NAN. And I did that. Every single horse that I will put on the table at Kentucky, both at NAN and at the Open Show, has a new reference card. My reason for that is twofold. One, because a lot of my reference cards at this point are 4 years old. And there's nothing wrong with using a 4-year-old reference card. Like, I had obviously been doing that with no issues, but some of them just like needed updating. Like, I had better information that was more relevant to my entries. Like, I've just had more experience and exposure. And so like the reference cards I made before my first live show are fine. They're usable, and they did fine at NAN in 2024, but I could do better now. I could speak more to the important points and important information more concisely. I could probably like organize the format a little bit better to maximize space. I could just like a lot of different things. I could make them better because you learn over over time, and you get better at stuff over time. So I knew for sure there were like several that I was like, oh, I really want to make that better. So at first, but before I started that project, I was sloshing around the idea of just like going through them and seeing like which ones I wanted to redo. And then kind of the same time that was like in my head, there were a lot of online discussions about bad reference cards. So reference cards that like maybe used AI, or reference cards that had photos of horses that were not the breed that the reference card said that they were. And I've seen that. I've seen that as a judge a lot, especially with like well-known horses. Like I at one point saw a picture of Reverence on a paint horse reference card. And I kindly pointed it out, I respectfully pointed it out to the entrant. I was like, that he's not a paint horse. And he's like, no, he's a known horse. So like people are going to see that and be like, hey, he's not a paint horse, you know? So stuff like that. And there was this big conversation about, for weeks, there were several posts and several threads and several conversations ongoing about bad reference cards. Or reference cards with bad reference cards sounds harsh, but reference cards with bad information on them. And like, obviously no one is perfect. And like, that was kind of like my takeaway on that too, is like, no, you shouldn't like reward something that's incorrect necessarily, but like no one is perfect. Everyone does make mistakes. There's a lot of misinformation on the internet, and like we should, you know, be sympathetic to that, or at least understanding of that. Like, yeah, sure, people are gonna make mistakes, you shouldn't reward that, but it doesn't mean that people were intentionally malicious. You know, I personally don't think anybody's out here taking pictures and saying, I'm gonna intentionally call this a breed that the internet's telling me that it's not. You know, I do with that what you will. I don't think anybody's out here doing that. I think that that's crazy, but like, maybe there are, I don't know. But kind of like to that end, I was like, you know what, if there are people in this world that believe that people are out there doing that, which there clearly are, I'm not one of them, but there clearly are people who are out here believing that people are like maliciously labeling horses incorrect breeds for their own benefit. I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna go through and I am going to redo a chunk of these references because I just think I can make them better, I might as well go really big and redo all of them in a way that disallows for that kind of discourse. And so that's what I did. And so I would say probably the last year or two, I have started doing this anyways. So it was more for the cards that I made prior to that timeline, which there's still about like 2-3 years of cards then that didn't have this. But all of my reference cards now cite real horses. Where there is a real horse to cite. There's a few very obscure breeds that don't have registries or what have you that I, you know, was not able to do that for. But 97, we'll say, 95-97% of my reference cards cite a real horse from the stud book, of the registry, of the breed that I have assigned to my model. So, and they also cite either the stud book or the breed registry website. And again, I've been doing that for the past few years as it is, but now all of them have it. All of them have it. And let me tell you what, that was an undertaking. Because I'm showing 326 horses at the end. And every single one of those horses got a new reference card. And again, 95% of those reference cards cite real horses. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. Say about 300 horses have reference cards that cite a real horse. That's 300 real horses that I found pictures of, found in stud books, and then linked all of their information in the reference card. So that was a lot of work, but I will tell you what, I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. I learned a lot. Obviously because I was using those breeds before, I knew a little bit about them, but actually like digging into the stud books and the breeders and whatever behind these breeds is just like a different level of research and understanding. And again, like I said, some of the ones I made at like the very beginning of my show career, again, there was not bad information, but I didn't dig quite as deep with the research as I did on this second, more thorough approach. So it was really interesting. I found that I learned a lot more about South American breeds, which are surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, but like they're very well documented. You just have to translate documents. So fun fact, I did this project largely on my lunch breaks at work. And you're allowed to. I was accessing the work internet through my personal devices on my lunch break. You're allowed to. It's your lunch break. But I triggered our Wi-Fi several times trying to translate documents from other languages, from like breed registries or whatever. I got to be really good friends with our IT people, because they would come into the break room and be like, "Girl, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Horse project." And I would show them and they were like, "All right, weirdo." And I'm friends with them, it's okay. But that's like how I became friends with our IT people, because I triggered, like, the Wi-Fi was like, I don't know exactly what happened, but they got like a notification being like, something's happening, that's really weird. I don't know, but had to translate many documents out of foreign languages to accomplish this project, and it was so fun. And like, I've always loved breed research, and I've always loved making the reference cards and finding a horse in reality that best resembles my models. Like, that is truly, honest to God, one of my favorite parts about live showing. It's just like the research. I've always been very nerdy about breeds and stuff like that, and categorizations and conformation and this and that. Like, I've always, since I was literally like 5-6 years old, I've always liked that, and this is just an outlet for that, right? So whilst it was so much work, I enjoyed it so much. I had so much fun with it. I learned so much. Just like, one of the fun things that comes to mind is that in my research, I believe, I have no way of confirming this obviously because I don't know, but I would put good money on the fact that I found the horse that was the reference horse for Hermosa, the Premier Club mare, Andalusian mare. I would put good money on it. And she's beautiful. She's a beautiful horse, has that pattern with the cat tracking and the mapping and all the things. And she has had babies. She's a brood mare. At least at this point in time, she's a brood mare. And I was able to find photographs of her babies and the names and the whatever and the stud book and everything. They're pompous horses. And so her and her baby, Hermosa and Corazon, my reference horses for them on my cards are actually mama baby. It is actually the mare and then the mare's offspring. And I just love that. I think that that's so fun and so cool. Whatever. I had a great time. I enjoyed it. So much work. It took me so much time. Like, when I say months, it took me actual months. And I worked on that project while I was working on it. I worked on it every day. So like, worked on it on my lunch, and worked on it like typically like an hour or two in the evenings every day for months. So that took me through probably well, I did traditionals first because I had more of them, and I was kind of like, in my head, I was like, okay, I don't know how long this is going to take. If I only get through traditional, that's fine, and I'll use the old cards for the minis, and it'll be what it'll be. Like, I don't know how much time I'm going to have, especially because I started a new job in March, and then I have 2 horses and a house that I take care of with 4 cats. So I was kind of like, you know what, I'm going to try my best, but I think I started this project in March and I finished in May. So for 3 months, I worked on it for several hours a day and I got it done. So every horse that I put on the table in Kentucky has a new reference card that cites a real horse, except for that like 3 to 5% where that was not possible, either because it was an obscure crossbreed or a really obscure breed that didn't have a registry. That said, that was my big project. And actually, as I'm doing the timeline, I'm realizing, so that was March to May. December was Nan, binder building, and pulling the cards. In between doing that and starting the reference card project, there was about a month and a half. January was Breyer Midwest in Kansas. So I largely focused on that for a while. Kind of like schemed on the way home from Breyer Midwest about Kentucky plans and stuff that I wanted to do in Kentucky. And started coming up with the ideas for some of the stuff that's in the back of the truck for the open show. And otherwise, some of the stuff that's actually not in the truck at all. It's in my basement. One of those things was, well, two. I worked on and finished 2 projects between Breyer Midwest and starting the reference card project. First was my diorama contest, which I can say now because this video will come out later, but I was a winner this year. I love my diorama contest entry. I had so much fun building it. I love this year's theme so much. And so I conjured up this idea kind of like before Midwest, but kind of did the design concept for it afterwards and started like buying the materials and constructing it after Midwest. But I did that and finished that in February. And if you watch my 2024 BreyerFest experience video, you will hear me say, and I remember saying this because I remember thinking it, and that's why I did it this way this time. You will hear me say the only thing I would have done differently is I would have started my diorama contest entry sooner. As soon as we found out the theme, I would have started it, because it was like the one thing that could have made my few months leading up to BreyerFest easier, because the winter is typically a little bit slower as far as like prep goes and other shows and everything, at least in the Midwest, is slower in the winter. So I did that this year. I did that. I started and finished it in February. I love my diorama contest entry. I had so much fun building it. It's still sitting on my craft desk at home, like completely constructed, because I like it and it brings me joy. And so it moves. I don't know, it's fun. And it won, so I'm incredibly excited about that. That is my first Breyer contest win. To be fair, I've only entered the diorama contest. It's the only Breyer contest I've ever entered. And this was only my second time entering. I entered in 2024. I did like a Harry Potter themed thing. It was like the pop culture theme. And I liked my entry. I didn't like it as much as I liked my entry this year. And so I think like if one of them was gonna be my big one, it was this one. And it won. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to get glossy Flinka. And I'm just like
happy. It's nice when you love something and then like other people love it. You know, it's very validating because I enjoy it. I would have enjoyed it even if it didn't win. Like, I had fun building it. It photographed so well. Like, I had so much fun taking the pictures of it. I thought that it fit the theme so well. Like, I just had fun with it. But then, like, for it to win, I'm like, okay, so this was like pretty cool, you know? But I did that in February. So we're prep. We're still talking about prep. I did that in February. And then this one, you don't know about, well, actually, you do know about it now, but this is my first time talking about it. I also built out the graphics and design for my Stablemates Collectors Class entry for the BreyerFest Open Show. I'm only showing on Thursday, so that means the only collector's class that I could enter was the Stablemates one, which works for me. And I've had this idea in mind for several years, and I was kind of just waiting for the right moment to use it. And so I did, and it was really fun. So my theme for the Stablemate Collectors class is mochas and minis, and it's a little coffee shop. It's a little coffee shop with all my rare minis, and it's actually that board. You can't really see any of my graphics on it, but it's on that board. And I had, again, so much fun like building it, and I just think it's like so cute and so fun. I love coffee and I love Stablemates, so like whatever. I think it's great. But anyways, I had a lot of fun building out like the graphics for this, and basically every mini has a mug, and they will be a mug and a saucer, and so the mug will be flipped upside down with the saucer sitting on top, so there's more like horizontal space, and then each of the minis stands on its saucer, and then each of them also has like a little mug graphic sign that will be mounted to the shelf, so they'll stand on their little saucer, and then they've got a little mug graphic that says all the model information, but then it also assigns them a beverage name. So for example, my Cole, my short and sweet Cole run of 75 is black coffee. Get it? So it'll say black coffee at the top, and then it'll say the short and sweet Cole 2025 run of 75 blind bag micro run, whatever, on the little like mug graphic that's mounted to the shelf. And then I made a little like menu. It's like a chalkboard graphic menu, and it is like a specials. It's called the Run Count Specials menu, and the prices for each of those beverages, so like the black coffee is 75 cents because the black coffee horse is a run of 75. I'm just saying, it was so much fun. I don't know if anyone will actually like take the time to understand that. I hope that they do, because I think it's really fun. And so I have like these little accessories for the entry, and one of them was this little clear canister, like a little jar, almost like a little tiny mason jar with an actual lid that seals on it with like a little, you know, plastic seal, and it says coffee on it with a little like chalkboard label, and it came with a little like mini scoop also with a little bow on it, and I put real coffee beans in that little clear jar so you can see them, but when you open it you can also smell them. So we're engaging like all of the senses with the entry, because I will have that jar opened, so when you walk by you'll be able to smell the coffee. It's just like so fun. Like I love stuff like that so much. I think it's so cute and so fun. So that was March, and that puts us through May of prep. So that was December, basic Nan prep, deciding what I wanted to bring, pulling all the old references and getting them organized. January, February was Breyer Midwest. And then the diorama contest and my collector's class entry, March through May was my reference card project. And that included like printing and laminating and then stuffing, like restuffing those binders. So those binders are kind of my pride and joy. I put so much time and energy into those gosh darn binders. So I've got the binders, we're at May, I've got the binders, the diorama, the collector's class entry. May was NAN registration, which is no small undertaking. NAN registration took me a whole week of like plunking away at it a few hours every day. It changed a little bit from 2024, but not like in crazy ways. But it just like is a lot of work. It just takes time, and you have to put time into it. So that also happened in May. NAN registration and finishing my reference card project happened in May. And then in June, and this is a new one, and this is something that this is also my first time talking about it publicly. June, I started prep for my open show performance entries. So at Open, obviously I'm showing in the Stablemates Collectors class, and then I do have a string of minis that are going to show at Open. But my large focus is performance, which is terrifying, and I legitimately feel sick to my stomach over it. I have only been showing performance since October of last year. Since about December of last year, I have had very strong support and mentorship from Tiffany Purdy, who's an angel on this earth, and also an absolute wealth of performance knowledge, experience, all of the things. And she has been helping me a lot to learn kind of at an accelerated rate. And I have been showing performance again since October of last year, so 9 months, give or take a little bit. And I've done it at several larger shows, BBG, Sleigh Rally, a few GLC shows, stuff like that. So, I showed it at Breyer Midwest as well. I was very, very green when I did it at Breyer Midwest, and I didn't really have like the full inventory of things I needed to run a full division. It didn't go poorly. I got like 6 or 7 NAN cards in the classes I was equipped to enter, but I wasn't really equipped to enter all of them in a way that was competitive, and I needed more practice with my dolls and everything, and so I did do it, right? But I've had more success kind of like as I've gone on and had more mentorship and learned and like acquired more things. So I am showing performance at the Open show. I am terrified. I have been working really, 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 really hard. I have been running practice days for a month and a half. Every Saturday, I run a full practice. How I spend my Saturdays. I've been running full practice days of the entire class list for the Open show. So I know my TAC inside and out. I know the class list inside and out. I know exactly what's needed, exactly what my plan is going to be, exactly how like my morning setup needs to go, what goes what, like I know it like the back of my hand at this point. It's more just a matter of like, can I do it timely, and can I like remember everything day of with the added stress and pressures and stimulus and everything. So we'll see. Something that I also haven't shared yet is that Tiff Purdy did a beautiful performance custom of my horse Ribbit, and she's incredible. I've had her for maybe like a month and a half now. Literally, it's my horse. Like, if she started breathing, I would be like, who shrunk my horse? Like, why is she in my basement? looks so much like her. It's insane. Ribbit is a big girl. She is kind of built like a pit bull with donkey ears. Bless her. She is a Belgian warm blood, and she has really good bloodlines and very good conformation. But she, right now, at her ripe age of barely 4 years old, looks like a pit bull with donkey ears. And she's so cute, but she is, you know, like, not this super elegant, leggy, you know, 4-year-old that you would see. Like, she's just who she is. And this model is her. And she has interchangeable manes, a Tiff Purdy special. She's got the Hunter, beautiful, like she did such a good job with the manes. Beautiful Hunter braided mane, and then she has like a loose mane. So I'll be able to like swap out her manes. I only have to do it once actually. Swap out her mane while showing. I am going to do my best, and I feel as though I have prepared the best I possibly could have done. I'm gonna do my best. And we'll see how it shakes out. But I, again, have had just like such wonderful mentorship. Like Tiff came to my house in about a month ago in June, and we like ran a clinic together in my basement, just her and I. We did like a performance clinic, and you know, as I've been like doing independent practices and stuff, I've like sent her questions and all the things. And obviously like part of that prep too, like it was all of that. It was the practice, it was the clinic, it was the learning and all of the information download into my brain. But it has also been the research for the references, which is no joke. Just like I was saying with like the breed references, the references for performance are no joke, especially a lot of the open show classes are based in like patterns. And so finding the patterns that fit the horse and finding the movement within the pattern that makes the most sense for what you're showing in your entry, or you know, whatever order you do it in, you find the test first, and then just finding the right fit is no joke. And like, you know, I've got 2 English dressage entries, I have 2 Western dressage entries, I have 4 horsemanship entries, 2 are English, 2 are Western. Those are all pattern classes. I've got 4 trail entries, 2 English, 2 Western. Those are all pattern classes. Like, it's a lot of research with like the patterns and what fits best, and knowing, you know, obviously like you gotta know what tack goes, what base tack goes with what like little accessories go with what, so on and so forth. And it's just a lot, like it's a lot. I had 48 pages of references to print when I printed my performance stuff and put the binder together. I had 48 references to print. So that on top of all of my halter, and I also redid all the collectability stuff, but that wasn't quite as intensive. It just needed some fine tuning. It wasn't anything like the breed or the performance stuff, but like the performance stuff was crazy. There was a crazy amount of prep, but I feel like for me, where I am at, what I've learned and what I have, like I'm truly as prepared as I possibly could be. I would be happy if I can get all of my entries to the table successfully. That I don't like forget anything or mess anything up significantly. I would just like all of my entries to successfully get to the table. If that happens, I'll be a happy camper. So that's prep, I guess. And then obviously like packing this thing was its own category of insane. Well, I thought I was going to be able to fit 9 totes in the bed of the truck. I was only able to fit 8, but I did have some extra room, so I put some stuff that I had in bags back there as well. So I've got 8 big totes, my mini tote, my cart, and 2 bags in the back. My hope was to do all of my Nan stuff in the bed of the truck, and then all of my open show stuff in the cab of the truck. And it's mostly that way. I would say it's probably like 80% that way, because one of the bags that I fit into the bed is an open show bag, and then one of the small totes that I have on the bench back there is for Nan. But besides that, I was mostly successful in like splitting everything out that way. So packing the truck was its own beast, and now I'm on my way. Here we are. Okay, so that was a lot of talk about prep. I did a lot of prep. I knew that I wanted to do like a big discussion on it in my experience video because it was so intensive. But as far as like actual BreyerFest goes, I talked about this like a little bit in my plans video, but I will be showing at Nan on Monday and Wednesday, and I will be there on Tuesday because I'm judging on Tuesday. I'm judging custom and resin halter on Tuesday. So I will be at Nan all 3 days, and then I'm showing in the open show Thursday, and then I will be at the horse park Friday through Sunday, which is going to be lovely. I've talked about pretty much like Monday through Thursday pretty intensely at this point because of all the showing, but then yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday I will be at the horse park doing horse park things for 3 whole days. I'm not volunteering for Breyer at all this year. I'm just judging at Nan, so I am free. I'm free to do like whatever I want, which is so exciting. I'm gonna have so much fun just like being at the horse park. I've always wanted to just do that, and I've never gotten to, because I always get roped into something, and this year I was very stubborn about it, and I said, nope, I'm not volunteering for anything except for Nan, and I am going to have a good time. So the one thing I'm going to try to do, and again, first time talking about it, but I'm not going to bid in the live auction this year. I did last year. I am going to try for the other glossy saloon manager's model. So the test saloon manager's model, presumably it's the shaded black with the belt and spotting. And yeah, I would very much like to add him. So I am planning on bidding on him. Neverland would like a brother. So I would love to come home with him. We'll see. I'm gonna give it a fighting shot, and then I am going to I'm also trying to come home with the best customs contest stablemate, the Alborozo. So wish me luck on that one. He is very popular, I think, but we'll see. We'll see. I would love to come home with one of those. I would love to come home with one of those and the glossy manager's model test. So we'll see. I'm gonna give both of those a fighting shot. If I could come home with both of those things and then my glossy Flinka, man, that would be a good BreyerFest. That would be a really, really good BreyerFest. It's gonna be a good BreyerFest regardless, but those would be some really, really special editions. So I'm gonna spend Sunday night, drive home Monday, unload the truck, get everything back into the air conditioning, and then I'll be back to work on Tuesday. But this is a 9-day BreyerFest for me. It's a long time to be gone, and we're gonna see. We're gonna give it all, everything we got, and hope some of it sticks, right? So I'm really excited. I'm excited to be in Kentucky for a week with my friends. I'm excited to see beautiful plastic horses, and I'm excited to see how it all shakes out. So I will leave you with that, because I'm sure I've been rambling for long enough, and now you'll see like what happens, I guess.
Okay, so she had a lot to say. Homegirl had a lot to share with the class. Yeah, so I really, at this point in the video, don't feel the need to talk about the prep anymore. I think I covered that pretty sufficiently. We can just get right into the actual day-by-day breakdown of BreyerFest and go from there. So, as you saw, I drove down the Sunday before BreyerFest started. I left pretty early in the morning that Sunday to try to get to Kentucky at a reasonable time, check into the Airbnb. You saw in that clip, probably, my truck was loaded. I had 11 totes of show models between Nan and the open show, along with 11 show totes of traditional models, 1 show tote with all of my minis, and then several totes, carrying cases, boxes of performance prop spaces, tack goodies, all for the open show. So my truck was cozy. I, in the past, often have carpooled with friends and brought friends down to BreyerFest. I am really glad, I love you guys. I'm really glad that I didn't commit to do that this year, because I could not have. And I kind of like knew that going into it, but thankfully everything just worked out. Nobody needed a ride, so I had all that room to myself, because I needed every square inch of it, especially coming back with the new stuff. Like, thankfully I did not bring home like a large volume of new stuff. I did bring home like plenty of new stuff, but it wasn't like I didn't bring home like 50 new horses. So I was able to kind of put them on top of things in their existing packaging, and it was fine. But that was definitely the most I have ever taken down to Kentucky with me. Thank goodness for my truck, and being able to fit a lot of stuff in the bed, having a very safe like system, the tonneau cover, and this, all the things. It just like worked out really, really well. But I could not have fit one more tote. I was at max capacity as far as totes, so that was interesting and fun. So I got there Sunday, and a couple of friends and I rented a house. We B&B'd a house, which was so good. I'd never done that before. I'd always stayed in a hotel situation, but there were 4 of us, and all 4 of us were model horse showing, and so we felt that it would be best space-wise to do a house, and it was. We needed the room with everybody's show totes and stuff, but the space was like perfect. It was so good. It was a very cute house, very horse girl. There was horse stuff everywhere. It was very cute. Kitchen was great, like everything we needed. It was really, really nice. So my friend Katie and I got there Sunday afternoon. We got into the house like as soon as we possibly could and started unloading stuff. We were coming off a week in the Midwest where temps were like in the hundreds. So we were trying to be like very cognizant of heat and humidity and everything. So it was still really, really hot when we arrived in Kentucky. So we immediately wanted to unload all the horses and all the stuff. So we did, and had like a little bit of time. The timing wound up being perfect. And from there we went for the first time, we went to the Clarion to pick up our Nan packets. And we wound up running into an abundance of friends that we were seeing for the first time, because everyone was there to pick up their packets, move into their hotel room. So that was lovely. We saw everybody, we got our stuff, and we went back to the house to tag things. And so all the horses were tagged Sunday night, ready to go for the following day. And the following day was day 1 of North American Nationals 2026, which is OF Halter Day, OF Breed Day. So I was showing, my friend Katie and I were really showing together, our tables were together. We had several other friends who joined us in our corner, which was super fun. Our friends Elise and Morgan often joined us in the corner for floor time. We got put in the corner, which was lovely. We loved our corner time, we loved our floor time, we loved the carpet time. It was great. Carrie, who runs Nan, Carrie and Sarah were the chairs of Nan, and they did an incredible job, as they did in 2024, but such a good job. It was such a great event. And I did Nan, as you heard me talk about, similarly to how I did it in 2024, where I brought just a bunch of horses to show. And so Carrie, obviously being able to see registrations, knew that I had a ton of horses to show on Monday. Much, much, much less to show on Wednesday, but Monday is my big day because breed is like my big thing. And So she gave me a table in the back corner, which also allowed them to set me up a table that went up against the wall. So I was able to have 2 tables on Monday for all of my stuff, which was lovely. I very much appreciated that. I used every inch of real estate, and I still had to swap horses out at lunch. But there were a few goals for me at NAN this year. One was for all of my friends that were doing it for the first time to enjoy themselves. And we accomplished that. Everyone had so much fun. All of the newbies got top 10s, and quite a few of them got national champs and reserves, and all of the new people had a really good time. I think would do it again, right, guys? And so that was a big goal. For me personally, with my own showing, I wanted 2 things to happen. First, I really wanted to win. I wanted to win one of each of the cookies or medallions. So that'd be 1 gold, 1 silver, and then the purple for volunteering, which I got from day 2. But I wanted to win one of each of the cookies, and then I wanted to win enough top 10 rosettes to have a pillow made, which I looked up a company that provides those services beforehand, and I knew I needed about 15 to 20 rosettes, which is a lot. And so I knew those were kind of my goals going into it. And then for all of my friends that were doing it for the first time to enjoy themselves, and then also for every single horse that I entered to make it onto the table. That was a personal goal for me this year because in 2024, I didn't do that intentionally. We were about 2/3 of the way through the day in 2024, and I decided to start pulling horses and not putting them on the table and just like not entering classes I had paid for. I felt as though I had won enough and got very self-conscious about hearing my name just continuously called. And that's a great problem to have. I was having a great show day, but I kind of let that like self-consciousness get to me, and I thought people were going to be mad about that, and some of them were, but I stopped putting horses onto the table because of that, to the tune of probably between 20 to 30 horses that I paid to enter at NAN, just like I did not show them because I was feeling so self-conscious about it, and I regretted that. I got home from NAN and I was thinking about it, and I really, really regretted doing that. One, because I paid those darn entry fees and I should have put those horses on the table, and 2, because I let my perceived projection of how other people were going to feel affect my own experience. And you should never do that. You should do what you want to do as long as it's not harming anyone else, what brings you joy, what you qualified for, like what you paid to do. You should not let other people spoil that for you. So this year, my goal was to not let that get to me and to put every horse that I registered on the table, and I did. And I was very proud of myself for that. So all 3 of my showing goals for NAN Day 1 were met. It is impossible to hit on every single thing that happened on NAN Day 1. I will say that my friend Katie was absolutely instrumental in helping me get all of my horses to the table. I could not have met that goal if it wasn't for her, so thank you, Katie. In 2024, Zoe was my NAN angel, and in 2026, Katie was my NAN angel. So I appreciate Katie always, and she's back. Katie had a lovely day too. I think she had like 3 national champs or reserves, and we had 2 classes, Katie and I had 2 classes where we swept the national titles together, which was so fun. Katie and I both love breed research, and we have done some like really, really, really deep dives the past 6 months into registries and specific reference horses and studs and stud books and lineage and all the things. It's very nerdy, but it's been very fun, and so then for us to be able to sweep those few national championships together after kind of doing all that research together was really, really, really cool. We did it in the Arabian class. I was champ, she was reserve. And then I think we did it in one of the mini classes. I don't remember what the second class we did it in was, but we swapped. So Katie was national champion and I was national reserve. So we had 2 moments like that, and we swapped positions, and it was just really cool. Another few cool moments were I did, same in 2024, I had one class where I took both the national champion and the national reserve title, which was really cool. Last year that was in traditional European warm blood, and this year that was in mini thoroughbred standardbred. So I love my sport horses, what can I say? But that was really, really cool and very validating. I really love the reference horses that I have for both of those thoroughbreds, and so winning that was really, really cool. I did also have 2 horses that maintained their championship honors or title. They defended their titles from 2024. So 2 of my national champions or reserves from 2024, Nan, were national champions or reserves again now in 2026. So they've had those titles they will have had those titles for 4 years, which is so cool. I love that. And both of the horses that won them are very meaningful to me in my collection. One, I don't think you can see him. Can you? No. Darn it. One is my man of the hour, who is the inspiration behind all of my logos and branding. He is kind of the mascot icon for everything that I do. So to have him also be such a successful show horse is really cool. And then the other one was my copy of Moon Pie, who is the queen of my mini collection. She has won, I want to say, between 5 to 6 overall championship titles just at regular live shows, and she can't show at BreyerFest anymore because she overalled at BreyerFest, and now she has won 2 national championships. I think she was reserve. Both years, so she's been national reserve champion, the national reserve champion, Breyer mini paint horse for 4 years. So that's really cool. She's very special. And yeah, I mean, those were the highlights. There were a million cool things that happened, and we had so much fun. Our little goofy corner, they put us in the corner because they knew we were gonna be wild, and we were, and it was excellent. We had so much fun. All roads lead to the Clarion floor. I sat on that carpet more that week than I should have ever in a lifetime. Who knows if I have permanent skin damage from that or not, to be completely frank, but it was so much fun. Just a few more numbers that I had on my script, because I do kind of have a script for this video. I showed approximately 300 horses at Nan on Monday, and then I got between 65 to 70 top 10s. I frankly have not gone through all the results yet, but that is an approximate number just based on the amount of rosettes that came home with me. Okay, now we're on to Tuesday. After Nan on Monday, we just went back to the house and kind of got a bit more organized. It ended relatively late, which was no problem. We were gonna be there, right? I think it ended between 6 to 7 p.m., which really wasn't that terrible. But we went back to the house and ate, went to bed, and woke up again on Tuesday to do it again. So Tuesday, I wasn't showing at Nan, but I was judging. So I got to show up a little bit later than I would have if I was showing. And I got to judge custom and artist resin halter with some Region 8 icons. Region 8, Region 4, Legends and Icons, Greg, Marilou, and Brenda. We had such a good time. It was so interesting. I stewarded in 2024, but I didn't judge in 2024. And so I understand the process and how everything works and the steps and everything and the behind the scenes. But it was very interesting to judge a class and then to be able to see nearly in real time what the other judges of that class pinned, and to kind of compare quote unquote compare notes, but it was really just looking at the results that were posted online. Those are the notes. And that was really interesting. So you judged independently, and then you turned in your clipboard with your results, but then you could look at the results as they were posted online and be like, oh, I pinned this here, but Judge B pinned this here, and Judge C pinned it there, and to like look at that and like know which horses that was talking about and to think about that was really interesting. So that was really cool. That whole experience was awesome. I was honestly done by like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. It was crazy. It was probably the most relaxed judging gig I've ever had, to be honest. They treated us very well. You don't judge every single class, so you kind of judge your class, turn in your clipboard, and go back to the lounge. And then they call you up for duty to do it again. But there's like downtime between classes. They fed us a really nice lunch. You could get coffee. There was always like fruit and pastries available. They gave us coloring books if we got bored, and I colored a coloring book page. So yeah, it was truly, I think, the most laid back judging experience I've ever had. Like 10 out of 10 recommend. Would absolutely do it again. The way everything was set up, or the way that Carrie and Sarah set everything up, I lived in that back corner all 3 days. Like my stuff stayed on those tables all 3 days. So I was actually able to, after I was done judging, get my table set up for Wednesday. So my table was all set up for Wednesday for Collectability Day, all organized and ready. And then a bunch of us left when the show was over, which it was over at a much more reasonable time that day. And we went to the Sedona Tap House and had a lovely meal. I want to say at that point it was me, Katie, and our friend Eleanor had joined us. She was also one of our housemates, Eleanor Hightower, Firestarter Studios, and she joined us Monday night, and then joined us for dinner then on Tuesday. And we met a friend through Eleanor, Brenna, who is an incredible artist. I had no idea. I felt like the lead was significantly buried on that one because she's so humble, but her work is absolutely insane. But yeah, we had dinner, the four of us had dinner, and then after the fact, we met up with our friend Elise from Floor Time on Monday, and we did the rounds at the Clarion because it was only like 5 p.m. or 5 or 6 p.m. and we like had so much time. So we did the rounds at the Clarion, which it's so crazy on Nan years when like most of the rooms are open on a Tuesday. I love that. It is so much fun to be able to do that like so early in the week when it's less congested. So I was a big fan. It was lovely. And that was pretty much it. I think after we did our laps around the Clarion, we went back to the house. We got ready for Wednesday. So Wednesday, as you could expect, was Nan Collectability Day. It was the last day of Nan 2026. And so I was the only one out of our group that was showing on Collectability Day. While certainly everyone could have, I was the only one that entered and had a string and was going at it on Wednesday. But Katie was so lovely, and by about hour 1.5 or 2 of show day, she came to visit me and helped me put some horses on the table during the craziest part of the day, which for some reason Collectability Day did get wild. It did get wild. I think it's because I had a few classes where the way that things just ended up getting split, I had like 13 horses in a class. The biggest one was 16, and that was insane. But it went very, very well. I go into Nan Collectability Day knowing that my strong suit is breed. And while I do have some rare horses, the way that it is broken up, they might not always be the national champions. And that's the way I approached it in 2024 too. I don't collect things specifically for collectability purposes. I collect things really because I like them, but I also like things and like breed typey. Like I don't have anything vintage. I don't have I own like 3 decos, I think. Well, it might be more than that now because I have a few Halloween horses, but like, you get the picture. But I bring what I have qualified and what I want to show, and my guys did really, really well. A lot of them, it was their first Nan, a lot of my collectability horses at least, and it was really cool. Collectability Day is also always a treat because there are so many things that show up that never see the light of day besides Nan. And so just like walking around and looking at the tables is such a treat. There's so many cool things that come out of the woodworks, so that was very cool. And I will say Nan Collectability Day for me this year was a bit nostalgic. I talked about this a bit in depth on Instagram, but I will also talk about it here because I can. So I was kind of in a like transformative, kind of pivotal point in my collecting in 2024. I was like kind of just crossing over the border into being like having some uber rare pieces in my collection, but I hadn't done it yet. Like on Collectability Day of Nan 2024, my lowest run count horse was probably my Duamish, who's a run of 48. Like I hadn't quite crossed that threshold into having like super, super rare stuff. I didn't have any raffle horses yet. I didn't have any prize horses yet. I was picking up some stuff that year that fell into that category, but I wasn't quite there yet. And Shark is here. And I walked away from Nan, from that day of Nan, just being so inspired by some of the collections that I saw of these like super, super rare pieces that I loved, and feeling like, yeah, like I want to go for it. Like I want that, you know? And just changing my mindset of the way I collected and what I was trying to go after and the direction I was trying to go in, basically. So that was 2 years ago. And so I made some kind of like, I made a concrete goal after that day that I wanted to, by Nan 2026, I wanted to have one horse, at least one horse, in the runs of 2 to 35 classes. And that would be your raffle horses, your prize models, your super, super rare event boutique models, like your micro run, stuff like that. And I had 6 in that class. And they're all horses that I just love. And so that was very, very special. Well, I had 6 that fell into that category for a traditional tour mini. When I made that goal, I did not specify scale. It was just a run count goal. And again, it's one of those things where I will not add something just because of the run count. It has to be something that I like. So to have now 6 horses that fall into that category, well, now it's more than 6, spoiler alert. To have 6 horses qualified at Nan that fell into that category was really, really cool. And all of the traditionals, so my 4 that were traditionals, were double qualified. And I think 2 out of the 4 got top 10s. So they're versatile. And that's what I like. I love that, like, you can come up here. I love the like hyper realistic and rare combo. That's what I love. So, it felt really, really good to accomplish that goal. That goal was 2 years in the making, so it was a really cool full circle moment to accomplish it. And yeah, it was just like a great day. It was a great day, but it wasn't over when Nan was over, because Thursday was the open show, and I was showing performance for the first time ever at the open show. And so immediately after Wednesday Nan, I was actually quite stressed out thinking about this all day at Wednesday Nan. I was like trying to be in the moment, but I was also like, oh my God, you know. So after Nan was over, which ends quite early on Wednesday, I think we had to be out of the hall by like 3 p.m. I immediately started prepping horses for the open show. So I started tacking up horses and getting everything ready for the open show. especially complicated by the fact that several of the horses that I was showing in performance were also horses that were showing Nan Wednesday, Collectability Day. My Glossy HD Harkness and she was National Reserve Champion on Collectability Day at Nan. My Rose Gray Araba. She's my Arab Regalia horse. So, a multi-talented queen, if you will. And that took a long time. It took a long time. Hours to get everything reorganized and ready for the open show. So that is how I spent my Wednesday night. That was my least favorite night. Not because it wasn't enjoyable and exciting, but just like the stress. It was very stressful to go from like literally showing like 150 horses at Nan to then going and tacking up 6 horses and making sure all the bits and pieces and everything for performance were together. And they were. They really were. It really, like, organizationally could not have gone better. Not a single thing was missed, and nothing broke. Like, everything, it was all very, very, very good. It was just stressful. So, Thursday was the open show, and I again applaud and thank my friend Katie, who came with me to the open show and was kind of like table management and helped me out a lot, was an extra set of hands. Thursday I ran performance at the open show for the first time ever, and it went so well. My goal for that was obviously quite a bit different from Nan. My goal for the open show was for all of my entries to make it onto the table correctly and as I intended them. I wanted my absolute best work to be showcased, and it was, and I'm really happy with that. I showed a total of, I think it was 44 entries in the performance division at the open show. I showed in both OF performance and custom performance. There are 2 different divisions at the open show. At a typical live show, they're combined most of the time. But at the open show, they are separate, so 2 different divisions. Each horse can only show in one section, and then they can have one extra class outside of that section. So you would have like a Western horse, an English horse, and a miscellaneous horse. Did have one of each of those horses for the OF division. And then I had 2 customs that I was showing, and one of those customs you will see in my haul video. But so that was 5 like quote division horses that I was running, and then I had a few extras for the regalia classes. I had, hi Lou, like I mentioned, I had my Araba for the Arab regalia class, and then I also had a prop horse for another class, a historical regalia class. So it was insane. I practiced, as you heard me describe, a lot, and it like genuinely paid off. The actual show day was literally not as rigorous as the practices that I did in my basement, which was kind of the whole idea. That was kind of the whole idea. Obviously the environment is so different, but I wanted to make sure that timing was not going to be an issue for me. And so I really pushed myself and practiced and made sure that I had that timing down, as was recommended to me by many, many veterans that have done this for years. They were like, you gotta practice, Sam, you gotta practice with that timer, Sam, you gotta do that. And I was like, all right, and I did. And it paid off. I did not feel, there was not a single time where I felt like I ran out of time, except for I made a rookie green bean mistake where I misunderstood a call, and that caused me to mess up one of my entries. But I'll take it. Everything else besides that one entry got out, was wonderful, and I was super happy with it. I would say on average, I ended up kind of like middle of the pack in most classes with a few outliers in both directions. I did win 2 classes, and then there were like 1 or 2 classes I didn't place in. But I was really happy with that, considering the quality of stuff that I was up against and the amount of time that most of these people have been doing it. I've only been doing performance for about like 8 months. I did my first open performance division in December of 2025. I did like a novice performance division in October of 2025, but I did like 2 classes, and I had 1 tack set, so like it kind of counts. So December really was my first true like attempt at running a division outing. And it's July, so that's like 8 months. So I was really, really proud of the amount that I've been able to learn and add and do in just 8 months. It's really fun. Like, I find it so interesting and so challenging and so rewarding. I really love it. I really, really do. And I came home like super inspired to continue learning and improving and getting better and acquiring new things and all the things. So when I talked to Tiff Purdy after the show, who largely is the reason why I have been able to do so much in just 8 months, she has really mentored me and helped me and has been just absolutely wonderful throughout all of this. I told her, I was like, well, I walked away from this experience wanting to keep doing it and to get better instead of wanting to quit. So I feel like that we take that as a very, very positive thing and we continue growing and learning. So I loved it. It was great. It was really, really, really good. And boy, did I feel relieved after the fact, too, because that was 4 days of model horse showing wrapped. So open show is over. The 4-day showing marathon is over. And from the open show, I went back to Horse Girl House and unloaded all my stuff and got changed, took a shower, did all the things, and then went over to meet up with my friends at the Stone event. Their like spooky pirate sale thing was going on Thursday night. So I headed over there. Was only there briefly, but there long enough to say hi to people and tell Tiff how everything went at the open show, and to use a couple drink tickets. I am 29 years old. And then a bunch of us went over to the Clarion right across the way to see the opening of the Artisans Gallery, which was, I don't know, I feel like the Artisans Gallery and BCC this year were just like, hi Lou, were like possibly the best I've seen since I've been going to BreyerFest in person. The stuff was just so good this year. There were so many incredible artists represented in both. Whoa! What are you doing? Get off the table. Okay, we're compromising right now because she wants to sit on the table really badly. Anyways, it was so lovely to be at the AG and to like see everyone's work, took some pictures, took some video, all the things, said hi to all my friends that were vending, looked at all their goodies, heard some of their stories. It was just really, really good. We did some room shopping on Thursday too. I felt free. I was like, I can do whatever I want. I can be out as late as I want. So we did a lot of room shopping and we're out probably way too late on Thursday, but it was super fun. Lucy is just helping at this point. Friday was the open show day 2, although I was not showing. So Friday I originally was like, oh, I'm gonna sleep in a little bit. I did not sleep in because I thought it would be fun to try to catch the collector's classes at the open show and get some pictures of those, and then to hang out there with friends that were showing for just a little bit before the horse park opened. I am not a line person. I don't feel the need to ever get in that giant line to be one of the first ones into the horse park or into the store. More power to the people that do it, but it's just not for me. So I was like, maybe we hunker down at the open show and take pictures and see the sights for a few hours before heading over to the horse park. So I got there pretty early. I did get some pictures of the collector's classes and hung out with friends for a good while. After a little bit, I met up with Eleanor at the show hall, and we stuck together the rest of the day at the horse park, which was so much fun. It was so nice to have just a day together. At the open show, we saw Katie, and Katie and then my friend Erin had joined us at that point too, and she was showing at the open show. And then Region 8 people, Laura, Tiff, Chris, and then Michigan native Rachel, they were all showing at the open show. Our friend Hallie, also from Michigan, was showing at the open show. All the people, everyone was there. And so I got to just like bop around the hall and talk to friends and take pictures. And my goodness, is it a different experience when you're not showing. So much less stress. But it was nice just to be there, and Laura won a champ while we were there, which was so cool. It was just really fun. It was super fun. A bunch of other friends were there too that I probably didn't name, but it was nice to see everybody. Everybody had a great day. Katie wound up with an overall champion at her first ever open show. So kudos to Katie. I wanted to shout that out. And our friend Morgan, my child, also it was his first open show, and he got an overall. They got an overall together, and it was so sweet and really cool, and I'm very proud of both of them. So it was excellent. But Eleanor and I left probably maybe around like 10:30 or so, and then headed to the horse park, and we did horse park things all day, and it was so lovely. This was my first BreyerFest getting 3 days at the horse park. And here's the thing. In all of my past BreyerFests, I've always said, oh, it feels like I don't get enough time at the horse park because I only get 2 days. I only get Saturday and Sunday, and I typically have like some sort of a volunteering obligation one of those days. So that was always my theory, is I was like, oh, I don't feel like I have enough time because I don't get Friday. I was wrong. Because this year I had Friday, and I still didn't feel like I had enough time. And I was there all day, all 3 days. And I did not volunteer once those 3 days. I was not working. And I still did not feel that I had enough time. So clearly the schedule is not the problem. I just want to be there for longer than 3 days. So I did feel like I accomplished the most, like I was able to do the most this year than I have compared to other years. But I still wanted longer. I still could have handled another day or two. And I know that's unrealistic. I just love it, and there's just so much to do and so much to see. And I'm watching like the live broadcasts now, and I'm like, yeah, I did not see this demo, and I did not see that demo, and I swear I sat in that covered arena for a good long while, and there's plenty of stuff I did not see. So anyways, Friday, Eleanor and I started the day in the Collector Club tent, seeing all of the new stuff, which, Breyer decorated so well this year. Everything was so cute. This theme has been my favorite theme ever. It's my favorite theme now. I love everything about this theme. I love Midsummer. I love the like historical Scandinavian ties. I love like the colors and the flowers and the like whimsy, and it's just like all right up my alley. And Breyer decorated so well. Everything was so cute. They had a real maypole in the beer garden. They had a decorative maypole. All of the like plexiglass horses had like flower crowns, and they had the doll horse jump, like the real one. I think it was at WEC or WEF or something. It was there. I don't know how they got a hold of that, but that was really cool. Maybe it was at the horse park, like at some point, I don't know, but they had it, so it was there, which was cool. And then this ties in because the Collector Club tent was also decorated like very cute, like they had hanging flowers and light, and it was just like so pretty. So anyways, we saw all the new club horses in the Collector Club tent, which was neat, and we saw one of the new Tractor Supply horses, which was also very cool. We saw the Shannondale. And from there, we went to the Hobby Information tent, which it was very therapeutic to visit that as just a guest this year. There was a blanket making workshop with Eva Matthews that I saw advertised. And I was like, that is so cute that you can like sit down at this table and like make a blanket and then take that home. And like her pictures were really good. And I was like, you know what? I think I would like to try that. That's not something that I have ever tried. But if she's saying I can sit down at a table and do it, it can't be that hard. And so we made blankies, and it was so cute and so popular. Like her table was poppin'. It was like standing room only, and we had to like wait for seats to open up, and it was like people of all ages, like kids were doing it, adults like our age were doing it, older adults were doing it. Like it seemed like it was a hit. She had her sewing machine out on the table. I was like, girl, you are brave with the electrical and everything that goes into that, but she was doing a great job. And Eleanor and I both made blankets, and it was super cute and very fun. From there, I believe we grabbed lunch and started heading over to the visitor center because we wanted to go to Leslie Kathman's lecture on Roan. And I also wanted to look at the glass cabinets to see all the auction horses and to get some pictures and video of them before the auction on Saturday. So we did that first. We ran into a massive group of friends that were all gathering for Leslie's talk as well. So we got to see even more people for the first time and catch up with them and see how their week was going. We met up with some of Eleanor's Colorado friends and just like a bunch, everybody was there to see Leslie. And so we listened to the lecture. It was very insightful, very interesting, very helpful. And from there we did shopping. I had in my head that like if it made sense that I would have liked to have done my shopping on Friday. That way it was over and everything was back at the house and I could just focus on experiences and helping friends and doing other things on Saturday and Sunday. Friday was kind of like the quiet day, like it was just the two of us, and we weren't really like rushing to do very much. So we did do shopping, so I went through the store and then we both went through the special run line, the celebration horse line, all the things, which was really nice. It felt really nice to have all that done early on Friday. Oh, and we bought some raffle tickets, and I did some shopping for Katie while she was busy at the show, and just all the things. We took care of business on Friday with the shopping side of things. Friday was so chill, in fact, that I was able to go back to the house and shower and eat before going to the Clarion, which, to be clear, is a luxury. Normally, you are busting booty to get from the horse park to the Clarion to this to that, and like maybe you'll eat a cheese stick or something, which granted is not good. You should be eating protein and drinking electrolytes and taking care of yourself better than that, but it's BreyerFest and things get crazy. And so no, I got to do that. I did take care of myself. I got to take a shower and I ate one of my meal preps and drank my electrolytes, and it was excellent. And then went to the Clarion, and Friday ended up, again, we took care of business on Friday. Friday ended up being the night that I picked up all of my pickup horses, which I will talk about in my haul. I originally did not have pickup horses. Somehow I ended up with 4 and a cat. a fake one, but 4 and a cat, and that number was supposed to be 0. So I cannot avoid pickups. Every year I say I'm not doing them. I'm not. And I somehow always wind up with stuff. But they were all worth it. I don't know. You'll see. I don't regret a darn thing. So, still got it all done on Friday. So the whole wrapping up the shopping of it all on Friday was accomplished and worth it. We stayed out probably far too late on Friday, then went back to the house, went to sleep, woke up Saturday, back to the horse park. I did try to sleep in a little bit on Saturday. It didn't work at that point. My brain, I think, just like was like, you're wasting time, girl. Time is limited. This is BreyerFest. Like, get to the horse park. So I did. I went to the horse park earlier with my friends Erin and Amara, and I sat with their stuff in the arena while they did their shopping because they were at the open show the day before. Ran into more friends that were watching in the covered arena, so got to sit with them while I was the guardian of all of the stuff. Got some good like pictures and video and watched. There's so much to watch, and like I feel like over the years I haven't gotten to do that nearly enough. So I was like perfectly happy to just sit and watch. And it was cool, and it was fun, and it was entertaining. And throughout the day on Saturday was very chill. Throughout the day on Saturday, I linked up with like many different friends, linked up with Elise and Katie when she was done at the kids. Katie volunteered at the kids show, so Katie joined us when she was done at the kids show, and we ran into our friends Steph and Sue. We ran into Barry and Rachel. We ran into, I was with Eleanor most of the day too. Like, I can't even rattle off I can't even rattle off everybody just because there were so many. So if I missed you, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to think of who all. Oh, Amelia Aquamodels joined us briefly on Saturday to walk through the barns too. That was a treat. Anyways, again, if I forgot to mention you, I'm sorry. It is 11 o'clock at night, and so much happened at BreyerFest. All amazing, wonderful things, but so much. So anyways, we throughout the day mostly just like walked around, and we saw all the horses in the barns. We did like a full walkthrough of all of the barns. We met a bunch of the horses. We got all of their little postcards from Breyer, which was super cute. Saturday really started my obsession with Pixis. He is incredible. We saw him in his stall on Friday, but then we watched him school on Saturday in the schooling ring outside, and I got some really cool picture and video of him, and he was amazing. And I think his rider's name was Alejandro, if I'm not mistaken, and what an incredible horseman. Like, that man can ride a horse. And I got to talk to him on, I think, Sunday after watching him ride, and just like to hear the way that he speaks about riding too is just like so wise and educated, and just what a treat. Like, what a treat to get to like witness them and their partnership and his riding and the horse and just all of it. They were so cool. Anyways, everyone else was cool too. Meeting everybody else was very friendly. The horses were very nice, but that, for me, they were the highlight. That was so cool. And yeah, from there we watched the raffle get pulled, and then we made our way to the live auction, which was held at the Alltech because they were worried about a big thunderstorm that was supposed to roll through. So the auction happened in air conditioning. I really liked it. You know, I think that if they would have had more time, they would have dressed it up a little bit more probably, but like, it was great. The air conditioning was lovely. There was so much space. Like, Breyer, maybe that's the move, you know? But that was really, really cool. They raised a lot of money for a lot of great charities, and beautiful models. A couple went home with friends, which was really nice. And yeah, it was great. From there, Saturday was not a day of luxury. So Saturday, I didn't go back to the horse house. Went straight from park shenanigans to the Clarion. I did have enough time to go through the Jimmy John's drive-thru and get a sandwich. And thank God for Hallie, because Hallie allowed me carpet space behind her artisan gallery table to sit and eat my Jimmy John's sandwich before everything else happened. So I had some protein in my system to make it through the rest of the evening. And the rest of the evening involved the social media meet and the conclusion of Artisans Gallery and announcing of BCC winners. And all of that was lovely. The social media meet was so good this year. I personally felt that this was the best year that I have seen since I've been going to BreyerFest. Just the attendance was really good. The raffle was really well organized. There were lots of great donations. They raised a ton of money for old friends. I did not stay for all of it. I can typically do about half the social media meet, and then my overstimulation meters require me to exit. But I was there for about half of it, and it was really, really good. Good job, you guys. It was excellent. A bunch of friends wound up showing up. I always love meeting new people at the social media meet, so everybody that I got to meet, thank you guys for saying hi. I'm so glad I got to sign your horses and take pictures and do all the things. It's so sweet. I love that stuff. I eat it up, and I love trinket trading and doing all the things, and it was really, really fun. So I will always try to be a part of that, and I hope you guys had fun with that too. And then it was over to the AG. They announced the BCC winners early. I mean, they announced them when they said they were going to announce them, but historically it's been later than 9 o'clock, but they announced them kind of at 9 o'clock sharp. And it was kind of unexpected, and then it was over. And I hung out in the AG and kind of had hands if anybody needed help tearing their tables down, and hung out with I hung out with friends and stuff while they were tearing their AG tables down, and that was nice. And briefly found myself in Tiff Purdy's room that evening and said goodbye to Laura and crew, because they leave on Sunday. She knows that I try to guilt trip her into staying Sunday every year, so she should expect this. But they leave on Sunday, which is lame, and they should stay Sunday night and then leave on Monday, because I hate saying goodbye to them on Saturday night. Anyways, Tiff had to stay until late. Well, I guess she didn't stay Sunday night, but she had to stay until later in the day on Sunday because of her workshop. So I'm considering that half of a win. Someday I will make it happen. Anyways, after all of that, it was very late. I think this was another 1 or 2 a.m. day. And then Sunday, I finally slept in. Sunday, my body finally let me sleep in a little bit. And Katie and I rolled into the horse park at I want to say it was still 10, I want to say. I mean, we didn't sleep in that late. We wanted to go to the Pixis autograph session, so we did that, and we kind of meandered around the barns a little bit that morning, but the silent auction wrapped up, or went live rather, at noon, and I was pretty seriously bidding on a few lots in the silent auction, so we did not have that much time to meander and wander around before that started. And it's not a secret, I've shared him, but I did go home with lot 1 from the silent auction, which was the test manager's model Duende, and so I obviously had to be there to bid on him and to grab him and all the things. So he's right there, I'm looking at him. He lives in this basement now. But that was super cool. This was my first BreyerFest silent auction win. It was also my first time bidding in the BreyerFest silent auction specifically. And I'm really happy with him. He was my number one. I would like to go home with this from BreyerFest this year. I'll talk about it a bit more in my haul, but I did really save like most of my shopping until after I had purchased him, which kind of made Sunday a little chaotic, but it's okay. I had bought everything that I wanted, like from the store, from my special run selections and all of that beforehand, but as far as like my unallocated spending, I was waiting for him because I really wanted to come home with him, and I did, and I'm so happy. He was a big highlight of the haul this year, but more about that in the haul video. But winning him was very exciting, and there were just like surrounded by friends when that happened, and it was very cool. My friend Rachel got a video, so thank you, Rachel. That's very cool to have that. I did not know that she was going to do that, and it was very sweet. And from there, that was like my final, I don't even want to say stressful, but that was like the last thing I really wanted to accomplish at BreyerFest. So after that, I just like felt so relaxed and so chill and was just like, go with the flow, do whatever. We went to the beer garden, got lunch, hung out. We went back for the raffle to be called. I think we, watched a few demonstrations before that. And they had actually announced the diorama contest winners as well, like on the big screen. They had been released online on Saturday, but they announced them on the big screen and put pictures of the dioramas and our names up and stuff on Sunday before the raffle, which was very cool. I did not realize they were going to do that. And that was it. BreyerFest is over after the Sunday raffle's called. So it wrapped up, and we went to the Clarion for one final night of room shopping. Historically, Sunday night Clarion room shopping is like my favorite. It's quieter. There's often people like giving better deals because they want to move their inventory out. And I will say, and this is the only time you will hear me say this in this haul video because BreyerFest was so good this year, the Sunday Clarion shopping was kind of a bummer this year. There just wasn't very much open, and like what was open wasn't selling the things that like any of us were looking for. And there was like a decent group of us looking for a pretty big variety of stuff, and we just like kind of struck out. I don't want to say that I struck out because I did buy a decent amount of performance stuff on Sunday night, and that was really what I wanted. There wasn't really anything in particular I was looking for that I didn't come home with, which is a privilege and also a luxury. But I did buy a lot of performance stuff Sunday, so maybe I'm speaking too harshly about it, but I think it did not feel the same as it has in years past, and I don't know quite why that was, but it was kind of a bummer. Like the deals just weren't quite as good, and the vibe wasn't quite the same. I don't know if people were just like over it by Sunday, but it was like kind of a downer on Sunday in there. So I wasn't there for that long. I wound up, it's very complicated, but I wound up going on a side quest to pick up a horse from not the Clarion. So I was actually gone for like an hour at least, maybe like an hour 15 in the pursuit of like picking up this horse from somebody that lived locally. So I wasn't there the whole time. Maybe that's partially where my experience is coming from. But I got back, walked around a little bit more, and then we dipped. I want to say we left at like 8 or 9. Oh, I forgot the most important part. Between the horse park and Clarion shopping, I had my first Waffle House experience. I had never been to a Waffle House before. They exist in Michigan, but they're not super common. Like we have them, they're here, but they're not like on every corner. We have Culver's that kind of fills that void, the on every corner void. And I had just never been to one. And there was one not like right across the road, but on our way from Horse Girl House to the horse park. And I kept seeing it, and I was like, gals, we gotta go. We gotta go one day. I've got to try it. And it did replace our typical Cracker Barrel experience. So I did miss out on the Cracker Barrel, but I tried Waffle House. And Katie and Barry and Rachel all came, and we all went to Waffle House together, and it was exquisite and lovely and beautiful and everything that you would expect. So we did that, and then we went to the Clarion, and all of that ensued. We left the Clarion probably, again, like I think it was like 9 o'clock or so, back to Horse Girl House, and then Katie and I started loading up our show horses, because both of us had so many totes that it just kind of made sense. And I'm really glad we did, because we, in the morning, got out of the house right when we were supposed to and not a minute sooner. And that was with still waking up early, like 6:30, I want to say like 7:30, and having loaded the totes the night before. Thankfully, it had cooled down at that point by quite a bit. It had cooled down so much that the humidity and the heat weren't really a concern Sunday night going into Monday. So we were able to load the trucks up and not have to worry about that. And then in the morning, it was just cleaning up the house and loading up our own stuff. And then it was over. And I drove home on Monday, got home around dinner time on Monday, unloaded the truck so that everything got back into the air conditioning, and went to work on Tuesday. It was brutal. But that was it. That was all of BreyerFest. And ever since then, things are still a little bit chaotic. I had all of my horses, which I came home in that truck with about 350 model horses. And I had them all unloaded. I had them all loaded and organized again by about Wednesday or Thursday of that week, which at this point was last week. So that felt good. I don't leave things packed for very long. It's like an itch that I can't scratch. Like, I don't sleep well when I know that I have things packed up. He's back. So I got everything unpacked fairly quickly, and I've just been trying to tie up the loose ends of, organizing my new NAN cards and going through show results and going through the bags of stuff and the binders and anything that's not actually a model horse. Like, the horses have been done, but the other stuff, there's just so much of it. I'm getting there. And then, like I had mentioned, I'm still waiting on the 2 final pieces of my haul to do the haul video, and so I'm staring at my haul right now because it's on a table right there. I am eventually going to have to figure out homes for all of them, which is something I have not thought about very much at this point, which could be a problem. So anyways, that pretty much wraps up my BreyerFest experience for 2026. It was a huge year. It was a year of a lot of growth and a lot of new things and a lot of goals met and a lot of new goals set and new ideas put into motion. And it was a year of, again, spending time with so many friends from literally all over the country, some of which I only see at BreyerFest every year. I know the same goes for a lot of the hobby. It is such a special week to have everybody more or less under one roof. And it was great. I don't think there are many more words to say it. It's special, it was magical, it was perfect. Like, I would not change a thing about my plans and the things that I did, and I wouldn't change any of it. It was great. I already can't wait for next year. Although, frankly, I would like to sleep quite a bit before next year rolls around. I need to rest and recover and live a little bit. And these guys would like me to be home for a little while too, because being gone for 9 days is hard. And I, on top of acknowledging all of my friends and their help, want to say, of course, thank you to my mom, who was in this house taking care of these guys twice a day, every day, because this one needs medication twice a day, every day, and then Shark, who you see frequently in these videos, needs prescription food, and she needs that twice a day, every day. And I also have 2 horses, and a garden, and a house, and all the things. And so it is no small feat to leave 6 animals and a house and a garden for 9 days, and I would not have been able to do that without my mom and her help. And of course the people that take care of my horses in my absence as well. So I'm just very thankful. I'm a very thankful, very happy girl, and this BreyerFest was very special. And I love you guys, and I had so much fun spending time with all of you, and wish BreyerFest was every day, frankly, instead of just a few days out of the year. But I am ending it very inspired and excited for everything that's to come before the next one. I've got so many plans and things that I'm itching to get started and to do. It's hard to say one thing at a time, but it's a good thing to feel so motivated that you have to tell yourself one thing at a time. So with that, that is BreyerFest 2026, and I will see you guys in my haul video, which hopefully will come out soon. Bye!
I want you to stay.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. What's today? Oh, magic. The 24th? Something is happening. Well, I guess that's why we have guardrails.
Whoa. Good move. Sir? Why are you like under the shelf? Can't put that in the bloopers. Whoops. You got a cute tummy. Cookie's just like rolling around on the ground.
Hi! Oh my gosh, so cute.
I don't need to put that on YouTube. No.
Hi! Meow!
Is it? It is. No, it's not. Hi, love.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Okay, enough. What are you doing? My niece just made an absolutely horrific sound. It was truly terrible. You are not a horse. This is about horse. It can be about Lucy in a minute, okay? Okay? Okay. Okay, here, sit. You can sit on my lap. How about that? No, socks. You, oh, you absolute punk. You bad girl. You absolute menace. Socks. Bad. I'm literally trying to film a video. Oh. If you knock over those moose, I'm gonna cry. You best behave. Oh my gosh.